What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Roundtable. This is episode 3 of the podcast. We actually named it this time.
Wow.
It's the Roundtable because nobody has that much power, and the conversation is fluid.
Mm-hmm. For those of you who don't know, the Roundtable was the reason why it was the Knights of the Round Table was, like he said, is so that way no one was at the head of the table, so everyone had this equal opportunity to share and converse and stuff, which is a really cool idea.
And I think it's a really good idea for like conversation because you have all these different perspectives without one person leading it.
Yeah.
It'd be cool. Yeah. I like it.
Fantastic. Yeah, 10 out of 10 idea. Thanks, AI.
Thanks, AI.
We're not that smart. AI did this for us.
Yes.
All of our ideas come from the computer. All hail Google.
The one true god of these lands.
So we got some pretty cool topics for today. We're going to start off with the Avatar movie, which is really hot right now. It's probably by the time this podcast drops, which will be in about
Don't worry, we won't be dropping spoilers because we haven't seen the movie.
6 to 7 months from now, when the movie's old news. But people are like wanting it to fail.
Yeah, we want to talk about the
a lot of
controversy
people
surrounding it.
Are wanting to fail, which is kind of crazy.
It's really interesting because you see the memes and you see like Reddit posts and everything, and people wanting the movie to fail for whatever reason, you know. And that's the crazy thing about the internet is all it takes is like a small group of people to start hating on something, and then herd mentality kicks in, and then everyone just starts doing it.
Starts hating. It's a snowball effect.
Yep.
Yeah, I just can't, because it's such an ambitious project, and the first one was this beautiful masterpiece. And even if you look at it, like I was watching the new Blood Origin, right? And they paid like $10 million, like the new Witcher, prequel. They spent like $10 million per episode, and the CGI in the first episode was absolute dog water. And I was like, where the freak did the budget come from? It's all actors we've never seen before. And I was like, what is going on, right? The writers made out like bandits, apparently, or the producers. Somebody did. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. But you watch the first Avatar, their CGI was so much better than we've seen in like recent films.
Yeah.
And definitely recent TV shows.
For those who didn't know, James Cameron, when he originally wrote the script 20 years before the movie actually came out.
Yeah.
Because he had this amazing script, but he straight up knew that technology was not there to make the movie. So he literally put it in a file cabinet for 20 years. And then one day he was like, it's finally time. Then he went to go ahead and made the movie. But so like he had this really ambitious project, and it was amazing.
And he pushed the technology of motion capture or mocap, right? And it really allowed a lot of other like movie producers, visual effects artists to create good shit off of him too. And that's the same stuff happened for the guys who did like the Star Wars films, and I forget what it's called, like Light and Magic or something like that.
Light and Magic. I don't know.
That's their studio. It's like Light something and Magic.
Oh, the studio that did the effects and stuff. Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up while you guys.
Yeah. And the same thing with like LucasArts. I mean, like, you know, you ask him why did he start with episode 4 as well, because like technology wasn't ready for the prequels yet. He had to wait for the technology to get there. So it's kind of the same deal, except everyone loves Star Wars and apparently everyone wants Avatar 2 to fail.
Industrial Light and Magic VFX. Yeah.
And it's crazy too, because when you see like there's been so many titans of like what I would call the entertainment world that have really pushed the envelope. One of my favorite ones is Lord of the Rings, because the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, the effects still hold up today.
We watched it recently, and it's incredible. And
it's incredible.
The makeup was done really well, and then the fact they had these super large casts, like the action scenes or the war scenes weren't beat by skill per person, right? Until Game of Thrones, when they had this super epic. But Game of Thrones had a way higher budget than.
And way better technology. Because how long did Lord of the Rings? How long ago was that?
That was early 2000s. It was like 2003.
I want to say 2008.
It's like
maybe
15 to 20 years ago. You know, that's impressive.
Really was. Oh, we're old.
Yeah, I know. to date us.
Yeah.
It's crazy, right? And but the thing is we had
2003,
that.
2001 to 2003.
So like 19 years
ago.
19 to 20
20 years ago.
4 years old. We were 4 years old when the Lord of the Rings came out. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
I'm a lot older than you guys.
Well, not too much.
Not too much.
What, 8 when it came out?
I was born in 92, so it was a lot.
Yeah, we were born in 97.
So you guys were like
we're
5 to 6.
We were? Or you were?
No, you were, bro.
2001. That's 4 years.
Oh.
Guys, by the way, he is Korean by nature. The math does not come off.
The math did. Just
The Irish.
The thing is, that math was too easy for him.
Yeah. Complex.
True.
Yeah, throw some calculus at him. He'll...
Centennials.
Anyway.
But yeah, it is really interesting to see that like people want it to fail. I think this Avatar film, and they wrapped it up years ago. I saw an article where I think it was one of the directors or somebody who worked on the project she assumed the film flopped because she hadn't heard anything about it for so many years. They've wrapped up filming for a long time. They were like polishing, and like VFX is going to take a long time, right?
Oh,
So they can film the physical thing and they can film everything like that. But that movie's got to be like what 99% VFX.
CGI. Yeah. Visual effects, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard people thought it was slow. And I don't know. I want to see it.
I mean, I haven't really heard much about it other than like how much hate it's had towards it. And part of it is because A, there are just people who love to be haters.
Yep.
And B, Avatar at the time, the original one, it got a lot of flack for like it was such a great movie, but it was very unoriginal. Do you guys ever hear the story of how like it was basically Pocahontas just with blue aliens instead?
Yeah, it's
white
people.
It's like it didn't deserve its hype, essentially.
I think. Yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry. The thing is, and this is a newsflash to anyone listening that might not know this, but there's no such thing as an original idea in 2022 because humans have existed long enough to where to have an original idea, especially in the entertainment business, is almost non-existent. Any version of a story that you create, there's going to be a similar version of it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I watched the Aquaman movie, for example, and halfway through the movie, I realized that it was basically telling the same story as the goddamn Sword and Stone. You know what I mean?
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, and you think about it, you're like, wow, I mean, he goes and gets the trident, right? The trident makes him the king and stuff.
MacGuffins, man. MacGuffins have been such a centerpiece.
And it happens all the time. And even the god of YouTube himself, Mr. Beast, has said, he's like, you know what? Like, there's no original ideas out there anymore. Yeah. You just put your own spin on idea. He's like, that's the way to do it. He's like, I don't care that there's a lot of people out there that do content like mine. He's like, just don't copy one for one. Just put your own spin on it and make it interesting. Because that's what any good creator does.
You mold it into something that fits you. Like, you take a generalized idea, which is anything these days, and you turn it into a product that fits you particularly.
I think, in my mind, the two reasons why I think people aren't going to enjoy Avatar is one, it's not for kids. And two, it's really long. So people are going to be turned off by that.
I think the original one was like almost 3 hours long.
Yeah, the original
2 hours, 45 minutes.
Yeah, it was long as well. And the last Batman film was super long.
But we've had a lot of long movies coming out nowadays. We have just longer movies like Endgame.
But look at like DC, 120 minute runtime for Black Adam. Right, they're in and out.
I watched it, and you know, have you seen it?
No, I heard.
My problem with Black Adam, side note, my problem with Black Adam is it just, I don't know if it's the character because I don't really read comics, never really have, but The Rock acting in that movie, it was like watching someone who just didn't want to be there kind of acting. And I think that's part of Black Adam's character because he's a very much like, I don't give a fuck about this, you know. He's like, I don't care. Like, I just kind of got woken up in like thousands of years in the future. I don't really care. I'm a badass. No one can stop me.
I'm here. I'm just doing what I need to do.
Yeah, but it's like he just never really said more than a couple words, which I'm not sure if that's Black Adam's character and part of it. But I think that The Rock obviously physically really fits the character. I mean, the dude is a beast incarnate, right? But The Rock's personality really doesn't get to shine in that movie and what you're used to seeing with like The Rock. And I think a lot of what makes him such a great actor is his unique personality that he brings to his characters, and that didn't really come through in Black Adam because it's a more serious role where he's just a badass.
I'm gonna have a opinion on that and say that I don't think The Rock is really acting at all.
In like most things, he's just playing himself. He's like another one of those players.
I think that was Kevin Hart's problem for a while. I think he's really developed into an incredible actor recently. Like some of his newer films, I'm like, holy cow, this is a real character, right?
I mean, you compare it to like his original movie, The Scorpion King. He's came a long way.
The Rock.
The Rock.
Yeah, you can give him that. Talk about good CGI.
The thing about it is, a lot of actors, they become so famous.
Typecasting.
That you kind of become, because there's two different types of actors. There is the ones that just play a role and they play characters really well, and they can play these different types of characters. Like Daniel Craig, I think is a good example of someone who could just play different types of characters. They're all different. And then there's ones that are so famous in and of themselves, not for their role, but for themselves, that when they get hired onto it, like Ryan Reynolds, Samuel L. Jackson, they're kind of just playing themselves because that's what people love about them.
That's what people love. What?
There's a new film with Samuel L. Jackson. I've seen a clip recently, and it's
I haven't heard about it.
Yeah, I'll try to find the title for it after this. But there's this clip where he like pulls a gun on this chick, he like pulls out a baseball bat. And this other guy in the room's like, "That's misogynistic, man." You're like, "What are you gonna do? Shoot her?" And he's like, "I don't give a fuck if she's a woman or not. She's got a bat.
She's got a bat.
I'm gonna shoot her." Like, you're the one who's being misogynistic by bringing. It's a good classic Samuel L. Jackson.
It's Samuel L. Jackson.
Say what again, motherfucker? Because that's what Samuel Jackson is. He's say what again, motherfucker guy.
Exactly.
Even in Star Wars, when he played Mace Windu, on his lightsaber it said "bad motherfucker," which is the not Reservoir, but
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction.
Thank you. Yeah. I have too many. What's his name? Movies in my head.
Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, Quentin
Tarantino.
Yeah.
Who's a very interesting individual. Django was insane. That was him acting though. I will give Samuel Jackson. He played a role in that.
And I don't think that it's always necessarily the actor's fault, because we're not saying like they can't act. It's just that most of the time when they get cast into these characters, they want them to play themselves.
Just like Jonah Hill for a long time. He was the fat, funny comedic release, right?
Oh yeah.
And now he's taking on serious roles, right? We saw him in War Dogs, where he was incredible, right? He was in Wolf of Wall Street, where he played this insane character. Like, I just don't understand.
Bro, ate a live goldfish.
Yeah, it was wild. Like that movie is so. Then that director's great too. I think that's I can't say his name.
It's the same one that made Shutter Island.
Yeah,
I can't.
Chris Swayze or whatever.
I can't say his name either.
I apologize for anyone who's listening.
Fantastic. I watched Shutter Island recently. I know it's an old movie, but I watched it recently, and it was just so good, you know. And part of it is because like Leonardo DiCaprio, and this doesn't need to be said, but that motherfucker can act.
Yeah.
It's insane the level of acting and emotion that he can like put on.
It was a crime how long it took him to get a
yes.
Well, there's theories out there, and one of the prominent theories, and that has a lot of backing and proof behind it, was that he just wasn't old enough. Because Emmy winners historically have always been like a certain age. And so they waited until
Jack
he
Nicholson got his late. Yeah, that makes sense.
Until he was old enough to technically.
Yeah,
U.S. and politics.
Yeah. I also, if I remember correctly, there's a lot of politics to play that goes into that, right?
Yes.
Like you have to like go to all these parties. You have to spend a certain amount of money.
You have to be a somebody.
Yeah, you have to.
And it's hard to be a somebody if you're too young.
Joke and coke and jerk off all the people who are on the board.
Because you haven't been in the industry long enough to be a somebody.
Yeah. But I think if we went by skill and like actual portrayal of acting ability, right, we'd see a lot of other actors and stuff.
I just remember the highlight of I can't remember the movie he got his Emmy in, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Revenant, yeah.
Yeah, the Revenant?
The Revenant, yeah.
The Revenant, whatever. It's just like I just remember seeing a caption of like ate rotten meat and slept in freezing temperatures for this movie, and the comment below was like, "Dear God, someone give this guy an Emmy before he kills himself."
Yeah. Well, he climbed into, it wasn't a real horse carcass, but it was like a created horse carcass, which is a really cool scene. Because it was like straight out like Star Wars, the same idea, which is like an actual idea. Yeah. But God, dude,
nothing's original. Yeah. He climbed to the horse carcass.
Yeah.
Han Solo cut open the Tom's carcass.
Definitely Luke Skywalker.
Yep.
But yeah.
you just have to find a creative way to retell a story.
Solo. Yeah, he cut the Tom.
No, this man knows. This man knows. He's a
Han Solo cut it open, but he was like, "This shit smells terrible." Here you go.
You get in there. I'll be fine walking out.
Exactly.
So, to kind of wrap up the Avatar topic and to bring it back, really, is that to hate on something because you feel like it lacks originality is kind of dumb unless it truly does lack originality. But just because you're like, oh, this story feels like a retelling, or if it's just like this, it's like, find me something that's not, you know what I mean? Unless you go really far back into origin, like real original stories, you're going to find something that's very similar to something else that's been told, because that's just kind of how it goes. Like,
and at the end of the day, like, it's all about the creative value that it brain.
Yes.
If people enjoy the movie, then why hate on it? You know
I
what
think
mean?
that's what's so
Like,
brilliant about Avatar.
Sure, it could have been Pocahontas with blue people. I don't give a fuck. It was entertaining as hell. I watched it probably like 6 times the first year it was
I
out.
have sex with dreadlocks, bro. That's unique.
I need to know: is this an error, or like why does she carry? Because she's pregnant in the film. I've seen the trailer. Why does she have a child in her womb?
What?
Oh, when they have sex with the hair?
Yeah, because that means that there has to be an out hole to be a womb, right? There has to be a blue people. What are they called? The Navi. There has to be a Navi.
We have to watch the movie.
Well, we gotta watch
for empirical evidence.
We gotta go check on Pornhub. I'm sure there's blue people.
Someone has figured that.
Somebody has figured this out.
Why isn't the FBI watching that? That's where I
might get a lot of Smurf stuff. There's some weird people out there. I don't know. You gotta make sure you put the right blue people in.
Yeah. Tall blue people.
Yeah, not the short one.
But no, like, why does she have a womb? Because if they're like we were talking about the other day, and I guess me and her sister are just talking about it more. But like, wouldn't it make sense because they're like connected to this plant? Wouldn't it make more sense if they're like they have like pods or eggs or like seeds outside of? It doesn't make sense that you have a womb.
I thought the hair was just like one part of it. Like they still do stuff down there.
No, I don't think so.
I don't know.
They connected, and then they like.
You know how long it's been since I've seen that movie?
I don't know.
Were they fucking? Did he whip out a big blue dong? And start like slinging.
We don't know, so let us know in the comments down below.
He's like 8 feet tall too. That thing's gotta be at least.
Just elephant trunking it.
Yeah. He's like
reminds me of that
it.
meme when the guy goes to bed with like Animal Channel and he wakes up, it's like the giant horse cock. He's over 11 pounds.
That's gonna be like
the fucking what?
That's gonna be the interracial porn people were watching. Navi on human. It's like this 4-foot tall girl and an 8-foot, 9-foot.
Oh, I thought about the other way, like Amazonian woman essentially.
Dominatrix.
Yeah.
Yeah. God.
Step on me, blue mommies.
Yeah. Blue mommy.
But we're still gonna go watch it. We're gonna
for the sex scenes.
I think that ultimately,
empirical evidence.
one of the best advices that I've ever been given, that I would give to anyone else, is okay to take the opinion of other people when it comes to anything, any form of media, but don't let it influence your decision before you've actually seen that form of media. Because there's plenty of games and movies that I've seen, TV shows that a lot of people telling me was shit that I really enjoyed, and there's other ones that people said it was great that I thought sucked. Form your own opinions. It's very important in life to seriously form your own opinions instead of just taking on an opinion that someone else gave you.
I think that a lot of people they read ratings and stuff and they're like, I'm gonna.
They decide to hate something before they've even watched it.
Yeah,
exactly.
I never look at ratings for anything. I just want to make my own.
Why would I care about someone else's opinion when I could just use my opinion?
Yeah. And there might be something you pull out of the film or enjoy in the film or certain action scenes. You're like, oh, that was badass.
Plus, people like review bomb and stuff like that. It happened to Genshin when they didn't give people good enough anniversary rewards.
Yeah, they
so they review bombed it and took it from like a 4.9 to like a 1 point something on like Google and Apple.
What the?
Yeah, because everyone was mad, so they're like,
everyone was mad.
They're gonna lash out and they just review bomb it, and so like there's also that can happen. And now we move on to the controversial topic of the night.
Well, we're actually going to go on to the least original thing in the fucking world, and that's Logan Paul scamming more people.
Oh, wow. Imagine that, guys. So, for those of you who haven't heard, The Gray Man, that bullshit.
Trash. Don't watch that film. Make your own opinion on it.
If you watch it and you enjoy it, it's you.
Obviously, if you guys enjoy anything we don't like, that's fine. You
100%.
Your own wrong opinion.
But even as kindred spirits as me and Shizzy have been over the course of our lives, we've had completely different opinions on certain movies and games.
No, that's 100%.
And we are very, very similar in nature to each other. So that just tells you, you know what I mean? Like, you can just have a completely different experience to people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's fine.
But Logan Paul's
bitch ass.
Scamming people.
Once again. So for those that don't know, we should probably set the scene. Yes.
I only heard a little bit of it.
Yeah. So recently, Logan Paul developed a game. It was not an original idea. It was based off of another game. But the idea is you play this game and you get in-game rewards by rarity of items, and then you can trade those in to their in-game currency for crypto coins. And then as you gain value to crypto coins, you can cash those out as the liquidity pool increases.
Right.
If you don't know anything about crypto, go watch CoffeeZilla. He will explain 90% of this. And he actually had a really great 3-part breakdown on this. It was incredible. I watched the whole thing. And this is why I'm so enlightened on it. But I want to talk about how, like, as a society, we just kind of have allowed Logan Paul to continuously scam children.
Yeah, that's the thing, because his main
Targeted
demographic
at
is children.
And he
Young
even talks
teens,
about the
children.
game. There's multiple clips of him being like, "This game is for children." He's like, "My devs, children couldn't stop playing this game." First of all, that was a lie because the game wasn't even developed. You couldn't even play the game. No one has ever played the game, right?
Wow.
You could buy things in the game, but you can't actually.
But you can't actually play it.
Yeah. There was no game there.
The cake is a lie.
The cake is a lie. Portal. But it was just like this ridiculous scam, and it was like, I can't believe we're trusting these people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like J. Cole, like that quote. I think it's George Bush talking in the background, where he's like,
Fool me once.
Yeah, shame on me.
Yeah.
Fool me twice.
Shame on
you.
You got it
Load the
backwards.
chopper.
No, three times.
Yeah,
No,
load
it's.
the-
Oh wait.
yeah, it's a J. Cole. Yeah.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah, because Fool Me, You Can't Be Fooled Again, and then J. Cole remixes it in
Yeah.
his rap, and then he's like, can't fool me again, load the chopper and let it rain on you.
Yeah.
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 Fire, we love J. Cole around
Yeah.
here.
But it's like, we continuously, not us personally, but the internet has been continuously burned by Logan Paul.
It sounds like it. Yeah.
At what fucking point do we just say, shut up, get off the internet? And like, we've tried so many times, but like,
He just
I
keeps
don't know.
coming back. It's like that crazy
Dude,
ex-girlfriend.
Yep.
I
It's just
hate
what
it.
happens when you're so famous. It's hard to cancel
Uncancelable,
you
yeah.
because you
It's
kind of
hard
get
to get canceled.
uncancelable. And the thing about being canceled, the really interesting thing is like you can technically be canceled,
Yeah.
but you're not fully canceled if you don't stop making content because you
Yeah.
can
Exactly.
still make content.
Even-
Unless you
yeah.
get deplatformed, you can still sit here and
Yeah,
make content all
Even
day.
Andrew Tate, who did get deplatformed on Twitter, just went on local news talk shows, right?
Yeah, and he just went to other people's podcasts and talked.
Yeah, which, funny enough, Andrew Tate, again, not an original person, but have you heard the whole scam behind his, like, Hustler?
Yeah,
Academy?
Hustler University or whatever.
Yeah, so he makes people who, like, you have to pay, like, $50 a month to go to, like, this school, which is, like, all in Discord calls, right? And then he requires you to repost clips of him being rich and famous and inspirational stuff as part of his school.
Yeah.
So
The
he
fuck?
makes people pay him to then advertise him,
Him.
and that's how he blew up.
So that
Oh
way
my
you
goodness.
can learn how to live the lifestyle that he's living.
Yeah, but he's literally living it by scamming these other people.
Exactly.
Oh
And
my
the
gosh.
success stories on here are people who are doing like little side hustles and making $50 to like $150 extra a month. I think the max was $2,000 extra a month, and that guy was just grinding.
Yeah.
But if that's, and he's like, you'll be driving a Lambo, you'll be
Yeah.
fucking bitches, you'll be going and meeting Dan Bazillion, like all this crazy shit. And it's like, it's just fake
just
to
him.
make it. Yeah.
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 And it's ridiculous. And Logan Paul, the same way, is like selling this idea constantly to these children. And I think Logan Paul is more evil, in my opinion, because it's to children.
He's targeting
Yeah.
children who literally just don't know any better.
Yeah, because that's the thing.
Ignorant.
They can't know any better, right? Because they're just ignorant. They're
Just
children.
fucking children.
Yeah.
You know, and
They're
and
getting introduced to the internet at such a
that's
young
a huge
age.
issue. I mean, the man
Exactly.
released a song called "Buy My Merch" when his target demographic is children. The whole song is literally just telling you to go buy
Yeah.
his merch,
Yeah.
which is very unethical when you have children as your thing. Because for one, you made a song called "Buy My Merch." It's fucking lame.
Yeah.
But for two, it's like you're just telling people to go buy your merch. Like you're kind of like begging and like telling these kids, and kids are
Other
very
people did it,
impressionable.
too.
Oh yeah, of
Yeah.
course. You know what I mean? And it's just it's all bad
I'm
practice.
gonna make one where it's like, this is how you steal your mom's credit card.
Right.
Type in these numbers right here. Have like a little
Yeah,
PowerPoint.
just make
Yeah.
one where you tell people to steal your mom's credit card and buy V-Bucks on Fortnite, but then put your creator code in when they do it. Yeah, there you go. It's
rolling.
Yeah.
Still scamming. Okay.
yeah, it's
But
horrible.
It's ridiculous, man. I
And
can't
people,
stand him.
and the only reason why people still fall for it when it comes to people like Logan Paul is because of the fact that his target demographic is kids.
His kids.
So it's like, like obviously an older audience would be like, oh no.
Still
They'd
not
eventually
nothing
figure
fine.
it out.
Yeah,
I
they'd
mean,
find
children
it.
But
just don't
older
know.
audiences, like I wouldn't say even older, like middle-aged audience still gets scammed, and like that's I don't understand how we're still getting scammed.
Well, the
constantly.
problem is,
we're buying into like these like fake gurus like Andrew.
well, that's the
Tate.
power of influencers.
Yeah.
Is when you
Exactly.
find an influencer that you like and that you trust, you'll just kind of buy into whatever they say because you trust
Exactly.
them, and that's
Yeah.
why
Blindly following them.
most companies love to use
Influencers.
influencers as their main form of advertisement. The big budget goes into influencers because it's way more effective than just showing a random ad on YouTube or something,
Yeah.
right? Because it's like,
Exactly.
oh, I trust this person. They say the product's good. good, so the product must be good because
Yeah,
I
exactly.
value their opinion.
And I think that's something I really enjoyed about us doing the.
We're getting the
mystery
Try Treats
box.
box. It's actually, I think it got
How the
delivered.
hell do they still send it to us? I don't.
Try
understand.
Treats,
Is
you
the
guys are
realest
legends.
OG
You
ever.
guys have been supporting our channel since day one.
Yeah, they really have.
Always
But
send
we've
us
always
boxes.
been really honest. We'd be like, this is dog water. Like, this is like a bad.
Yeah, if we get a bad snack, we'll say it.
Yeah,
you know,
will
but
say it. And like,
they're
sometimes
amazing.
I like them, you don't like them, right? But like,
Yeah.
we talk about them.
He gives everything a 4. It's really weird.
I-
He'd be like, that was
Everything's
delicious.
a 4?
4 out of
Yeah.
10.
4 out of 10.
Yeah.
No, he did it unironically, and then he started doing it
Ironically,
Because he
yeah.
was like, that was really good. And I was like, oh, yeah, what do you rate it? And it was like a 7 or 8 for me. And he was like, 4 out of 10. And I'm like, that's really good to you? And like, unironically, he was like, yeah. And I was like, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, we talked. We had a little.
It's just like,
4 is less than half.
yeah, I was
Yeah,
like,
we're
what
like,
the hell is
okay,
going
I
on?
would eat it again, but I wouldn't go seek it out and
What
purchase
the hell
it.
is
You know what I mean?
going to take you to a 10 out of 10 out of you?
Well, good food.
only things that he's cooked is a 10 out of 10. In his
That's not
opinion.
true. I've cooked before.
That's called bias, sir.
Yeah.
You can't do that, okay? You get
Yeah.
free snacks.
No,
But-
I'm gonna tell you the best food I ever had. I had sushi in Dubai, and the sushi chef was like, didn't speak a lick of English.
That's when you know it's good.
Yeah, and it was expensive. I think I walked out like with a $120 tab, but it was the most delicious sushi I've ever had, and probably some of those.
Was it on a rotation, like a lot of the places that do in Japan, or do you have to order it? Like, you know how they have the conveyor belt
Yeah.
tables?
Oh, conveyor belt
We
sushi.
had
There's one in
at our
Savannah.
hotel.
There is? Oh, we should
At
try
our
it.
hotel that we were at, they had a sushi bar, and it was all you could eat sushi. And it was like $25 in Dubai, right? And it was still really good sushi. It was way better than you get here, right? And it
Mhm.
wasn't like $120. And me and like 10 military buddies showed up, and we felt so bad because we cleared that place out. And there was like a family in line behind us, and they were like looking at us, and like we had like mounds. I ate so much sushi. We all ate so much sushi. And the next day we pulled out a port, and we were all sick.
Yeah.
That much sushi.
Mercury poisoned yourself.
I had a mound and like 3 plates, and I was just, and they had like the good wasabi, like not like the cheap, like good wasabi.
Real wasabi.
Yeah, real
Real
wasabi. I
wasabi.
can't believe that stuff. It's so good.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, any wasabi that you receive at your average restaurant isn't actually real wasabi.
Yeah.
Real wasabi is actually very expensive.
Did you know that Momiji's is not a chain? There's several different owners of it.
No, there is?
I
Yeah,
thought it was a chain, though.
it's not.
Aren't they just franchise owners?
I guess kind of, but like
Yeah.
the menus are different. So you go to one Momiji's, and it's completely.
Is it kind of like how they do with like habaneros and muchas and stuff?
Kinda, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, that's what a
But-
franchise owner is like they can use the name and the menus, but they don't have to stick 100% by the rules.
Yeah, so
That's why they can do their own pricing. They can take away or add certain
Yeah.
items within limits,
Yeah, yeah.
within reason. They can't
Yeah.
just add like candy sushi. And
But
just,
there's some
like, do it.
Momiji's next to like
what right
I don't
down
want
the
to say.
street.
Yeah.
No, it's not owned by the same guy that we go to.
Okay.
But the one we went to recently, it was way better than
Oh, really?
I've had recently. I was like,
Mm.
whoa, like, we just kind of increased their stuff. It's the one near the Fred Meyers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But they were
Nice.
telling us, they were like, oh yeah, it's completely owned by different owners, and they have different menus. Because some guy came in, he's like, you don't have this on the menu, and they're like, nope, we're not that Momiji's, we're this Momiji's. So it's kind
Huh.
of interesting.
You who doesn't like sushi? Logan Paul.